Well, I'm Nancy Riche, the youngest child of Winifred and Robert Riche. I say that because the other 11 children were all boys, and I'm the baby and the only girl. And I tell you that only because I think it helps define me or shape me. Well, the other night I received an award from my union, from NAPE, and the woman who presented it and did the introduction, she basically, well, she described me in all the nice ways, but she also, I think, basically described me as pretty aggressive. And if the guys got in the way, that sort of thing. So I think feminists, socialists, activists, trade unionists, social activists. That's all I've done. That's all I've done. When I grew up, people probably would not have defined the Battery as town. I grew up at the Battery. It's quite trendy now, but at that time it was a slum, and we were probably looked down upon. It was a fishing village of what it was. My career, like most people's, was a number of careers. I started out as a clerical worker, shorthand typist with the provincial government, lucked into a position as a vocational instructor, now community college. And during that time, I was 15 years doing that, I became active in my union, which is NAPE, Newfoundland Association Public and Private Employees, I think it's called now. And from there, I got active in the Federation of Labour, the provincial labour movement, and then was elected to a national position. And so for the last, prior to retirement, I spent 18 years in Ottawa, last to as Secretary-Treasurer of the Canadian Labour Congress. From the perspective of women, yes, there have been some changes. Yes, you're seeing in the labour movement, probably more women in leadership, and on the other hand, some fewer women in leadership. And, there's been some advance in pay equity, but we're not there. I mean, women are still not getting paid the same as men, sometimes for doing the same job. And I'm not sure attitudes have changed tremendously. It's not instinctive for people to treat each other equally. It's some sort of part of human nature that this group must be better than that group, or that group is less than the other group. It's quite bizarre. So we've got a ways to go. I sometimes wonder if we'll ever get there. It was never a question for me that once I retired, I would come home. Because there's something about Newfoundland and home that actually has the true meaning of home. If you talk to someone on the mainland who worked in Ottawa, and where are you going to retire? Well, I'm going back to Saskatchewan, or I'm going to I'm going to retire in British Columbia. Newfoundlanders would say immediately, I'm going home. And they almost expect everybody to know what they mean. I don't want to be Newfoundland snob, but there is something about being Newfoundlander you can be snobby about. Because there's something different about being a Newfoundlander than just being a part of any other part. We're nationalistic, unfortunately. Sometimes some of Newfoundlanders are a bit xenophobic. But generally I don't know if it came from all these years of Newfie jokes of kind of, curling in on ourselves. But, and it seems that people who move here sometimes express it better. They come to Newfoundland and say, oh, there's something about this place. And there is something about this place. And I don't know if I can even explain it. I don't even know if we want to tell any of you guys. Because you might figure it out too. I mean, I know people love, that they live on the North Shore, Nova Scotia, or whatever. But I still don't think it's the same. When Danny Williams speaks about Newfoundland, he doesn't have to elaborate. Every Newfoundlander in that audience knows exactly what he's talking about. and it's not easy to define.